Good morning everyone, and welcome to this week's garden update, where I'm going to show you how I make organic comfrey tea to feed your plants. Plus we're going to head into the kitchen with some ingredients from the garden to make a delicious homemade healthy noodle soup. But let's start off with what the chickens have been up to this week. I'm standing at the back of the raised garden bed area. I'm only laughing because I haven't been in here in a while, and let me just show you actually. So I came in, I was like, oh, what will we look at this week? Dug up. Oh, what about over here at my onions? Dug up. Those chickens, I know it's my fault because I'm the one who lets them free range everywhere, but sometimes they just do my head in. The one bed I've made sure to protect really well is this one, where I have a few different varieties of carrots. I just put these old trays and wire meshes over them to protect them from my little pals. Look, there's one over here. What are you doing, Autumn? Coming over to say hello? I still have this whole tray of sweet peas and regular peas to put out. I just haven't got around to it. Well, there we go. What's that you got? What is that? Oh my goodness, look. She just whipped out this plant. Did you see that? And I just spotted here as well. That's where I had the row of calendulas and my rainbow silver beet. Despite that one kind of half hanging out, look how much it's grown. Actually, they all seem to be doing pretty well. And if you're wondering what all of these are all dill seedlings. I absolutely love dill, mostly for their flowers, so I'll be digging up some of these and moving them around the garden. Actually, you know what? I'll probably pot up a heap of them too. Just have them ready to go to plant out in springtime. In this bed, I'm so happy with how well the bok choy is growing. It's a beautiful Asian green that you can put in stir fries and soups. What I love about this one is that, if I just break one off to show you, this one's half been eaten. You've got the top section, the leafy part, which kind of wilts in heat, and then the bottom section here is lovely and crunchy. You can even eat it raw too. I like to just slice this stem up and chuck it into a salad. It adds a nice bit of crunch and texture. Over the years, I've often spoken to you about how I love adding this into a noodle soup, but I've never actually shared my recipe, so I thought today was the perfect opportunity to get into the kitchen and show you how I make this lovely hearty dish, especially on those cooler winter days. And it sure is chilly here today, so I really feel like making this. What I'm going to do, instead of harvesting a couple of entire bok choys, I'm actually going to do the cut and come again method. This is where you pick the outer leaves off the plants. So I've got 8 here. I can pick maybe 3 off each one, some of the outer leaves, and it means the plant continues to grow. In here in the crown, it will continue to produce new greens, and I'm just picking the older ones on the outside. When I first learned about the cut and come again method, I only thought that you could do it with lettuce. I had no idea that it's way more than lettuce. It's like a huge variety of edibles, including the bok choy here and heaps of other Asian greens. I've got my basket ready, so let's get picking. I've actually got 2 of my kids homesick today. I think there's a bit of a tummy bug going around the school. I don't think they'll be able to eat much this morning, but maybe later on this evening if they're up for it. Okay, I think that's probably enough. Let's get this soup started. Here are all the ingredients that we'll need. There's quite a few condiments, starting off with some minced garlic. I also have some minced ginger here too. Of course, you can use fresh for both of these. This is just really a convenient dish for me to make. It's very quick to chuck together, and just any little step like this that can help the process move along quicker really is pretty handy. I also use fish sauce, soy sauce and sesame oil. There's the bok choy. I have a few spring onions and a couple of carrots. I like to use udon noodles. They're a bit thicker This whole thing is on a slope. Sure could tell I'm not a professional at this, so I don't want that to go. No, stay there. I'm gonna have to leave my hand here. Honestly, look at them, they keep on slipping off. Can you imagine if the fish sauce smashed here? It would stink. Okay, and then I'm just adding some of this pulled pork. Of course, you can make this vegetarian, you can alter it, you can add more veggies into it. If you don't like, you know, garlic or ginger, you can take that out. It's quite a versatile dish. It's just really, I think it's just like home cooking, quick mum meal, to be honest with you. But I promise it does taste good. I've also got this chicken stock. I'm inside now. I've just chopped up the carrots, spring onions and the bok choy. In this pot I've added a teaspoon of sesame oil. Once that warms up, I'm adding a teaspoon of the ginger. Well, actually that's the garlic. And a teaspoon of the ginger. In go the spring onions. I'm actually going to turn it down a bit. It's a bit hot. Anyway, I'll give this a good mix. Just wait for them to cook off a bit. Actually, that needs to get turned down a lot. Look how much is splashing. Okay, it's a couple of minutes later. I've actually turned down the heat and things are way more under control than they were before. See up all along the sides, I have all of this ginger and garlic that's splattered everywhere. Do you know, I don't think I've ever told you, but as part of my degree, when I went to uni, I've got a Bachelor of Science in Hotel and Catering Management. Well, part of that I actually did chefing, and we ran a restaurant in the uni as well. I was trying to think like how long of a period in the 4 years that was. I don't think it was very long, a few months, maybe even 6 months. But it was quite good experience and I learned a lot of basic chefing skills. I know they don't really show very much, but I really did. The next step is to add in all of the chicken stock. That's a litre of liquid and just by looking at it, it isn't enough. So you can always top that up with water, or in my case, I do have an extra container of stock, so I'm just going to add that in. I had planned on putting in the green bok choy tops and stems separately. Usually I put the stems in at the end so they don't get too wilted, I guess, but I don't have time today, so I just put everything in all at once. All we have left now to put in are the noodles and the pork. This is actually already cooked, so all I need to do with this is heat it through, so that will go in at the very end. With the noodles, I like to just soak them in some boiling water. Sometimes I find with these packet noodles, they can have a little bit of a funny flavour, and I find that just soaking them in this water helps to remove that. It's been about 5 minutes. It's now time to add the strained noodles. About another 5 minutes have passed, and the last ingredient to add is the cooked pork. I'll give that a stir through for about maybe 2 minutes or so. It's ready to go, and I'm telling you, it smells amazing. The whole kitchen smells like a giant hug, if hugs could smell. I'm over here by the Comfrey patch because I'm planning on harvesting a lot of this to make some comfrey cream or salve. Usually with this plant, I just end up chopping it up and using it as mulch or adding it into the compost pile. Another thing I do with it is I make comfrey tea, which I'm actually going to show you now how I do that process. If you're new to gardening and want to grow organic food, I highly recommend that you grow comfrey. This plant is rich in nutrients. You can harvest its leaves to make the most incredible fertiliser tea, which you can use to feed all your plants, keeping them lovely, healthy and productive. To make it, harvest a big bunch of the comfrey leaves, then just stuff them all inside this bucket. You can chop up the leaves, but I don't bother. Fill it to the top with water. Once that's done, get a heavy brick or stone to push down the leaves to the bottom. Cover and leave aside for about 3 weeks. When I show you this again, the liquid will be incredible. You can use it diluted with water and feed your plants. I'll keep you updated. About 3 weeks ago, I packed a large bunch of these comfrey leaves into this bucket. I then topped it up with water. Let's check and see if it's ready. It looks good to me. This dark liquid is full of nutrients and minerals. At the moment, it's a fertilizer concentrate, so you need to dilute it. 1 part comfrey solution to 10 parts water. What you now have is a wonderful organic liquid fertilizer for all of your plants. I haven't had the heart to pull out these nasturtiums. So this whole nasturtium patch originally started out under the orange tree and it slowly moved its way down here. And I think what's after happening is it's just after dropping seeds into this soil, which I have amended over the last year or so. So it's really nice and rich soil, perfect conditions for them to grow, and they've just taken over like a weed. I've got this one zinnia plant left. Remember I ripped out a whole load of them last week? Well, this one is here in the back garden. It's a smaller variety. It is called Lilliput, as far as I can remember. And it really is hanging in because it's looking pretty sad. There's really only a couple of flowers now at this stage that are looking decent. But you know what I'm doing? Collecting the seeds. I'm actually just going to leave it in here anyway for a bit longer. I don't really have any plans at the moment to get stuck into here because I've got other areas that are a bit more important. So for the last week or so, maybe I'll get 2 weeks out of it. This will be my last beautiful zinnia flower patch plant. I don't know what I'm saying. And then that will be it until probably usually around October. Thanks for watching till the end. It's getting so windy out here. I'm going to head inside and have a nice big bowl of that noodle soup. I'll see you again next Friday.